Now we're going to paint our background trees, our tree line off in the distance here. So we're going to make this, you know, lighter green. We're going to have a little bit more water to it. We'll add some texture in there with a variety of greens. So I got some green mixed up here. Maybe I'll start with a lighter, kind of yellowish green. Now I'm gonna, whoops, looks like I got a little. I am gonna paint a little bit of green back here. Those trees look, I think these trees are kind of darker. I'm not gonna make them quite as dark because I don't wanna interfere with these standing out. I'm gonna make these trees stand out a little bit more as more of a focal point here, but I am gonna paint some trees back in there. And in fact, I'll do these lighter, maybe this a little bit darker, but not quite as much. So anyway, let me do these trees back here. And I'll just kind of be random. They're not going to have as much detail. Keep some water, whoops, keep some water in there. Just add a little bit more blue in there, get some color, variety. Okay, put some of that over into here maybe. Maybe we'll throw in a little bit. It seems like there's some, I don't know if it's late summer, early fall, but there seems to be some other colors in there a little bit too. Throw some very dull, kind of brownish greens in there a little bit. There you go. So there's a variety, and those are going to blend together quite a bit because it's pretty wet and they're going to bleed. Maybe as that dries a little bit, I will add some darker, couple of darker values in there as well. See, so we could really let that, this could be, you know, stage 2, you know, just kind of focus on this, you know, and let that kind of, now, if I wanted to, I could kind of do the, actually, I'm going to clean up before that dries, clean paint, show you a little trick here, maybe. See if I can take a wet brush and just kind of pull that along the bottom. Clean that up a little bit. That brush is maybe a little bit too big. I can't get the control that I want. Take a wet brush here. Yeah, it already dried. It's not a big deal anyway. All right. Now what I'll do is maybe add it, since I kind of add a little more blue, add some brown over into here. Maybe get a few darker values along the bottom here. Not getting it quite thick enough. That's the key. You know, with watercolor painting, a lot of times you got to control that, the thickness of the paint too. Because the thicker the paint is, the less it'll travel. I don't want to get too carried away with too much detail because this is supposed to be far away, so you're not going to see. I just want a little variety of details in here, but not too much. That'll probably be sufficient. This will all be covered up when I do those grasses anyway. I'm kind of almost want to throw those grasses in now, at least kind of start the grasses. And I have some, burnt sienna over here mixed up. I'm going to throw just a touch of blue in there, kind of create a duller, whoops, maybe too much blue, turn to green. All my colors are blending together here. A very faint version of that. I don't know if there's enough in there. I want to get some of those distant grasses. There we go. See, I wanted just that touch. I like that little bit of of I just decided to paint initially, and I can paint this again. I wanted to get some of that yellow back in there to kind of bleed into those trees a little bit. As it bleeds into them and kind of back bleeds, should have left some white there too, but it's all right. Can lift out a little bit. And I'm gonna go over that again, you know, and get some more texture into that as that dries, but I just wanted to get that initial kind of connection. So that could be kind of stage 2. We got enough texture in here. It's kind of interesting. You got some darker greens, some yellowish greens, a little bit of brown, some of those dark values, you know, all kind of broken up. So that would be stage 2. And then we'll do maybe these nearer trees that are behind this tree, do those next. And so when I'll explain that in the next stage.